Right. We give thanks for this moment in time. We give thanks for yet another Sunday, a moment for us to take some time for introspection, to give thanks, and also be able to look inside ourselves as we continue our journey on the outside. We give thanks for the message of today. We know and we speak that it will be exactly what we all need for each soul that's tuned in live and those who watch this as a replay. We give thanks in advance for the message. May we not just be hearers of the word, but may we be doers as well. And we speak that it'll be easy for us. Ashe. Amen. 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 Give thanks. Give thanks. All right. So I want to start by reminding you all about the winter solstice. Um, the solstice energy begins to come around, I would say, like on the 20th. Always look at the holiday. I'm sorry, the season changes as well as the moon cycles. 3 days prior to it and 3 days afterwards. That's a safe space to say if you're being intentional about utilizing that energy. And so the solstice came around yesterday on the 21st, early in the morning. But we've been in this energy for since midweek. And then we'll still be working with this energy close to midweek this week. And so the divine assignment, I spoke about it. I did a video I put up. A lot of you all have seen it. But just remember that divine assignment. I encouraged us from the 20th to the 22nd to be introspective, be quiet, with yourself, and pay attention, because these longer nights, as they describe it, as it is described, remember, night is a time, or darkness is a time of growth. The seeds go into the soil, the baby is in the womb. When we say darkness, we oftentimes say, this is a dark period for me. We may be describing a tough period or a period of sadness. So it could be a period that's kind of rough for us, but those periods tend to be quite significant. And oftentimes it's not until the retrospect of those periods that we're able to see the significance. It's not until the breakthrough come that we're able to go back and go, man, we're able to reflect upon it. But imagine if when you get into those periods, you recognize it and you face them in awareness. And now you're really looking at it and going, okay, what am I learning here? What am I seeing here? What am I noticing here? So just practicing facing our dark periods. That was the winter solstice divine assignment, is to remember to master your darkness, your nights, as well as your days. In metaphysics, they look at night as they call it times of ignorance, actually, but it's ignorance in the true sense of the meaning, where times where we maybe come out of remembrance, we come out of that grounded in faith, we come out of that. And they call that the nighttime, because that is when we truly do face darkness, is when we're not standing in the light. And what is the light? The light of truth, the light of the reality of who we truly are and what we really are blessed with, the inheritance that we have as children of the Creator, as children of light. And so a lot of times we don't like those periods. And of course we don't, because we are beings of light. And so we don't like being in those spaces. However, those spaces still have value. So let us value those. And I am saying, in reflection, master facing those times in a poised way, where okay, this may be a period where I'm growing through something, I'm learning something, I'm going to keep my poise through this period. How are you facing your dark periods is what the prevailing question was for this winter solstice divine assignment. So just wanted to remind you all of that it is for us to master those periods, because they come day, night. If you look in the scripture, day, night is always referenced. So when you read the word, be reminded that when they mention something like 40 days, 40 nights, 3 days, 3 nights, when day and night is mentioned, it's talking about a cycle of growth. It's talking about a period of elevation. That's what in the story, that's what it's talking about. So even when Jesus did the hiatus, if you will, for 40 days and 40 nights. It's talking about an elevation of divine mindedness. So in that part of the story in the scripture, is helping us to understand the process of the growth in divine consciousness. There's a process in that. And so the story of Jesus gives you that process. It helps you to see what that process looks like. And the message for today, I'm going into reminding us what Jesus, the character Jesus, the man called Jesus, the story of Jesus, this part, I'm going to focus on the birth because we are in Christmas. This part, what is it representing in divine mindedness, right? So it's been on my mind because I've been walking through my neighborhood this week and all the lights and what's the scene called? I keep asking it. What's that scene? Okay, say it one more time. Why don't it come off my southern tongue properly? Nativity. Lord, I said it right. Nativity scene. Okay. The nativity scene has been all through my neighborhood, right? So I've just been kind of looking at it and just seeing how it looks. And the thing that it has been standing out to me is the star. A lot of people choose different types of stars. I've been really liking the stars that have a lot of spikes to it. And then the three wise men. And so I was in reflection all week about this star that the wise men followed. That was the significance of the star. These wise men from the east followed this star in order to go and meet Jesus to bear gifts. And so the message today, the title of the message today, I got a title today. Y'all know when I got a title, we about to learn something. The title of the day is The Biblical Baby Shower. Essentially, the wise men hosted a baby shower. Yeah. So in my mind, I was like, this was the first baby shower. And in my mind, listen, I'm being funny. But if we are going to give baby showers, in my mind, if we are going to be giving baby showers, we should be coming with some wisdom in those showers. When the young sisters or not so young sisters gather together and they're celebrating the birth of a new child, I think it will be beautiful for us to intentionally bear gifts of wisdom. And I think some showers are kind of structured. Some parts of it are structured in that way, where words of wisdom are given by the elders or people in there. I know for my sister's baby shower for my nieces, we all did like this wisdom book. You know, all the mamas had to write something in there for her so that she can have some wisdom going. But I want to talk about the significance of this part of the story, because the birth of Jesus story is a rich story if you study it metaphysically. But I want to hone in on specifically this part of the story about these wise men from the east following this morning star and coming bearing the gifts. Is everybody familiar with the story? Who will tune in? Familiar with the story? Okay, give thanks. How many of you are familiar with the story online? This is my pre-test to see where we're going with this. How many of you are familiar with that story? Let me know in the chat room. First thing I want to go into in this story is, of course, I want to go into talking about Jesus, because that's what this, in the West, for the most part, the celebration of Christmas is the celebration of the birth of the Son of God named Jesus. So I want you to look at, first of all, listen to what I just said. The Son of God birthed, and the name is Jesus. Son, when you hear Son of God, I would love for you to think of the S-U-N, the Son of God. If you don't know anything about winter solstice, after these 3 longest nights, it's 3 long nights, it has been celebrated widely in indigenous cultures, the birth of the sun. So it gives you a little idea of where the holiday first kind of originated. It was the birth of the UN was celebrated because a lot of these holidays were celebrated centered around the cycle of the sun and the cycle of the moon. So I want you to first understand that. And you don't have to know much. You can do your own research on it because that's not where we're going today. But I want you to know that these holidays, as many of you all already know, have been commercialized and created into traditions that don't necessarily uphold what the original celebration was all about. And that goes back to what I talked about last week. It is a time now for us to maybe consider looking at the depth of these things that we traditionally follow. And I said that last couple of Sundays because we've been doing Thanksgiving. We are in this season of traditional things that we do. So you have a group of people who have denounced it and now resist it. Oh, I don't do this, I don't do that. I don't look at it as good or bad. I'm not trying to influence you on which way to go. If you want to celebrate, if you don't want to celebrate, I'm not saying that. However, I am saying that there was a original significance in these times being celebrated. And the original significance tunes into a cycle of life that is powerful. And if you can get to know and understand them, then it could be something you tune in to so that you can live a little bit more intentional around these times, especially as you're gathering together with family, especially as you're spending your currency, especially as you are communing with people. It's all energy. I'm just saying. If you're communing with family during Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, you're in a vortex of energy and you're also eating. That's significant. Okay. There are cycles that continue because of these traditions. There are things that are happening, things that are being planted during those times that we're not aware of. And it's happening, and we wonder why it's happening because we're not treating those sensitive times in an intentional way. And what I mean by that is, if you're gathering on Thanksgiving, you got all your family there. You got to know you got all your ancestors there too, right? Okay, so all the ancestors there, the family there. You have people mad, sad, scared, ready to, wanting to forgive, still not able to forgive. You got all that happening, right? And a lot of people say, I don't even want to go because they know all of this energy is there. Or they go and just be like, let's just eat and let's just be. No, but that's a powerful time for some healing. That's a powerful time for some seeds to be planted, for some curses to be broken. Those are powerful times for that. And why am I having a conversation with you? Because you who tuned in to this live or here, you most likely are the light in the family. Am I right or am I wrong? You're the light. You are the light. So you may be like, oh, I'm vibrating way too high to be doing that. And da da da. You're the light, though. You were chosen. You've thought that. You said that. You even opened your mouth and said it to some of your family members in ways that may not even be really that nice. Or it was a little nice, nasty. Or nice. Either way, you are the light. You can actually utilize that to do some healing work during those times. Thanksgiving is it's a serious time energetically during the year, during these seasons. Christmas is the same thing. And believe it or not, New Year's is too. Not just because the Gregorian calendar has finished, but because of the energy that we're working with right now. This Capricorn season, it's also a season. We have some different things going on retrograde wise and some conjunctions happening. All of this is powerful time. And so I'm not making you be responsible for the healing of your family. This is not what I'm saying. What I am saying is if you get to know the higher meaning of things that has happened for years and years and years, you will see how you can easily be a little bit more intentional about your time. Because at the end of the day, a lot of us still do gather with family. We still do eat during Thanksgiving or Christmas and all of these different things. So I want you all to know that. All right. So into the word. The biblical baby shower. So here's the story, paraphrased, made short. Mary, we know Mary's virgin, as the story is told. Mary is now having a child. She's virgin. So this means this child is born of a virgin mother. Keep in mind what mother and Mary represent. Metaphysicians, when women show up in the Bible or Mary, what is it talking about? What is it talking about? Y'all know it's the teacher in me, so don't be too shy. Are we talking about when we hear women in the Bible, when we're talking about Mary, or what are we talking about? Not quite, Kim. Women in the Bible, the divine feminine. We was talking about the divine feminine. What are we talking about when the Bible is discussing a woman, when a woman shows up, when Jesus is casting demons out of Mary Magdalene, when people are trying to stone the woman, all of these stories, when the women show up, is talking about, take note, the soul. Because I know we've been talking about it in our classes, so maybe we haven't discussed it much on our Sunday calls. We're talking about soul, period, the soul or soul development. Soul or soul development when women show up in the Bible. So Mary is a representation of our soul. But this soul is when we have done the cleansing work to let go of, detach from the thoughts, memories, perceptions, attitudes of what we call this world. So what does that look like? These are the traumatic memories, the perceptions of anything that's associated with guilt, shame, anger, sadness, anxiety, worry. All of those are what we call error thoughts, carnal-minded thinking of this world. These are things that are of this world. It's not calling them right or wrong, because remember, we don't vibe there. We're not judging it. We're just saying you have things, you have memories, thoughts, perceptions that are born of this world. And you also have memories, thoughts, and perceptions that are born from within. These are things that are just there. They're from the divine intelligence. They're from the divine guidance. They're from the intuition. They're from the inner guidance, the inner light. That is the virgin soul, if you will. That's the virgin soul. We come into this experience with a virgin soul. All of us come into this experience with a virgin soul. Just like Jesus. All of us do. Now, sometimes that virgin soul is impacted by things your mother experienced while you were in the womb, by things of your childhood, by things that you experienced in school, by life. It's influenced by that. However, your original soul is virgin. What is a soul? I want you to be reminded of what we talk about when we talk about a soul. The soul is your sum total of all your thoughts, your ideas, your perceptions, your attitudes, your memory. It makes up your soul. And those memories, thoughts, perceptions, all of that is what projects into this world and creates your life. Which makes it why soul development is quite significant. Soul cleansing is quite significant. Because if you're seeing your world manifest in a certain kind of way, you want to check in on the soul, check in on the heart and the soul, check in on the mind. All of it has a interrelated relationship, the mind, the heart, and the soul. So Virgin Mary is a representation of what births this Jesus figure, which means divine mindedness. Jesus is the spiritual man. When you hear Jesus at all, we're talking about the spiritual man, the divine consciousness, the one that has no association with any error thought. So it doesn't matter what's happening. Think about Jesus's walk. When Jesus is called on and, the people, we about to die because the storm. Not even acknowledging the storm. Oh, my son is dead. He's not dead. He's yet alive. Oh, Jesus come to the man at the well. The man, oh, nobody come and help me. I can't walk. And they all running in front of me and all that. Get up and walk. And the man walks. Jesus represents this state of consciousness where your whole mind is stayed in truth. Your whole mind is stayed in the reality of God. Divine consciousness. So when we say Christ consciousness, we're saying this is the consciousness that has, the human has died, the human us has surrendered and has been resurrected in divine consciousness. That is Christ consciousness. When that human consciousness has surrendered and has been resurrected in divine consciousness, that is Christ consciousness. And it's something that in our walk, it's this dance with it. It's a dance. So don't feel no way if, I feel like sometimes our goal is to be like that and that only. And so when we're not like that, we go hard on ourselves. Don't do that. Okay? It's a journey. It's a journey. And if you look at Jesus's journey, which is the human form or the expression of it in human form, it had periods of going to the mountain. It had periods of hiatuses. We have to do that. You know, we have, long as you are aware, notice when you are coming out of that divine consciousness, that Christ consciousness. Just notice that. So Virgin Mary represents this virgin consciousness within ourselves. Virgin Mary represents the virgin consciousness, which is the only consciousness that can birth divine consciousness. So what does that mean? That means one of the things I really want to encourage us, protect your mind. Guard, what they say? Guard your heart. Some people think that's like, oh yeah, I don't get nobody no room to mess with my heart, because that's not what that's talking about. Okay? That's not what that's talking about. Guard your heart means, let me put it in a practical way, be careful who you're sitting around talking to. Some of y'all need to stop talking to your mama, because mama's still scared. And mama is going to project fears into your life. Some of you need to stop sharing everything with your spouse. Yeah, I said it. Because some of y'all, your spouse is not there. I'm sorry, Yvette said, ouch, I wasn't. Don't laugh, Yolanda. Yolanda be getting on me. She be like, girl, you don't be telling us when we need to put our bulletproof vests on or our boots. Okay. I just be being real because it's real. Because I constantly say, when God calls, when spirit calls, when your intuition calls, when your divine guidance is leading you, it's not a conference call. So everybody not getting all the memos. So then when you try to share, even if they love you, they're very relatable to you, all of that, they don't have all the memos. Because there are things in your dreams they don't know about. You don't even understand those things in your dreams yet. There are things in those car rides, those revelations in them drives, and when you're washing the dishes or when you're in the shower, they're not getting all those notes, and it's not possible for you to give them to them because some of them haven't even been revealed to you yet. So a lot of times people book a coaching session because they're scared that, oh, I think I'm going depression. I don't feel like talking to nobody. I don't feel like going nowhere. I don't feel like, it might be a nice divine sit down for you. It might be the case that you need not to right now. Because the messages that you need to hear, they can't be heard because you are not functioning in virgin consciousness, because it's not virgin. It's been penetrated. Pardon me. I sound like one of them Instagram posts I've been cringing at recently. But I'm just saying, we know what does virgin mean? Okay. So oftentimes we don't know what's penetrating our consciousness around certain things, or even just in life. The things we listen to, the conversations we're having, the people we share our visions with, the things, all of these things. And sometimes we're very afraid to not share. So if you are one who have a hard time not sharing, or you feel you constantly want to share, you want to check in. I want you to check in to see if you're having, if it's time for you to check in to see if you're seeking validation from outside of you. So there's two things that might be an issue. You're seeking validation outside of you, and your confidence needs to be worked on. Not confidence, pardon me, your Godfidence. Your Godfidence. Because confidence, I often say, you're just conning yourself. You're just convincing yourself. Godfidence, meaning you're standing in something rooted and strong. And it's not something that you always understand or that you always have strong faith in, but you have accepted it as your truth. I have accepted this as my truth, and I'm standing in this. When you do, you often don't seek outside validation. It's something within you. Now, am I saying is you shouldn't have, spiritual guides or, people who in your life? No, I'm not saying that. However, we do sometimes lean a little too heavy on that. Pardon me. We do sometimes lean a lot too heavy on that. We subtly don't trust ourselves. And let me tell you, the best guide is that divine guidance within you. It's within you. You may need some work. You may have to work on quieting the egos. You may have to work on some fear and those type of things, but that's the personal work. So then work on those things, because truly the best guide is within you. So virgin consciousness is what we achieve when we are protecting, guarding the heart, when we are putting ourselves in a position where we are able to walk in virgin consciousness. So then what happens is the divine consciousness become born from that. Because when you are a virgin, you do tap into that divine consciousness. This is why oftentimes I see when people are growing significantly, they go through a hermit mode. You're going to go through a hermit mode. And in many cultures, the hermits are seen as the wounded healers. Why are they seen as the wounded? I think in the tarot, hermit shows up as the wounded healers. Why? Because hermit mode ain't always easy. It's hurtful sometimes. Because you got to get through taking it personally. Why is this happening to me? You feel like you are losing friends, you're losing family. All these things are kind of happening. You're losing career, you're losing passions for things, you're losing craving for things, or you still have them, but they're not satisfying you. So that hurts. So you have these things, but then you go do it, or you're trying to do it, but it don't hit the same anymore. You got to go through that. What are we talking about here? The birth of Jesus. What is Jesus? The spiritual man, the divine consciousness. What does it come from? It's born of Virgin Mary. What's Virgin Mary? Virgin consciousness. And guess what? When did Jesus, anybody know the scripture? When did Jesus acknowledge who his father was? What you talking about, Queen? Mary didn't have no baby daddy. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm from Decatur, so what you want me to do? Mary didn't have no baby daddy. When did Jesus talk about who his father was? Anybody know? It's in the scripture. He talks about his father. What he said, you remember? Come on, prophetess Yolanda. Show up. What'd you say?
He was in the 40 days that he was
not earlier than that. Tess, what's up, Tess? Tess is online. You would laugh, Tess. Do y'all remember when Jesus and Joseph, Lord, hats off to Joseph. I'm just imagining Joseph just was going through it, huh? He thought he had a virgin. Why is she pregnant? I'm just kidding. Let me not be sacrilegious. Joseph and Mary lost Jesus. Y'all remember? Huh? Uh-huh. They done lost Jesus. They done lost Jesus. That tell you how independent Jesus was, how sovereign Jesus is. When I call it Jesus, I'm talking about divine consciousness, has no parents, because Jesus acknowledged who his father was in that temple. I'll tell you the story in a second. But also, Jesus was known to tell Mary, woman, what do I have to do with you? To his mama. Think metaphysical here. In your divine mindedness, you're not attached to parents, thoughts of others, influence of others. You're in divine consciousness. That's a brazen walk. That's a brazenly bold walk. Well, who told you you can do that? Well, how many of you all have heard that? Spirit done led you to go a certain way. And folks, well, who told you to do that? Well, who authorized you? Well, how you know you're going to be successful? Well, I don't know. Like, you don't think you're doing too much? You think you're ready for that? How many of us have heard it in our life? When we really feel inspired, the spirit in us has stirred us to do something. We have felt inspired to do something, and now we're doing it or sharing it with somebody before we do it. And we hear people say, that's the figure of Mary. Mary coming in, oh, Jesus, we done ran out of wine. Mary fretting. What Jesus said, woman, what do I have to do with you? And then gave instructions on how to replenish. I know I'm jumping around here, but I just want y'all to see that it's all the same. It's trying to tell us all the same things in different ways when you know how to read it. Okay, so Jesus proclaimed who his father was because we know Mary was virgin. This is a special Christmas message. I set an intention right now that as we discuss this, you hear something that inspires you to maybe look at Christmas differently. Maybe the traditions of Christmas can be in celebration of something you hear today that enlightens you in a certain kind of way. And see what we truly can celebrate during that season. What we can celebrate. The birthing of divine consciousness. How many of you all have felt that birthing within you? I've seen it in many of you all. The birthing of divine consciousness. Many of you have shared your story. I've seen your story over the years of the birthing of divine consciousness within you. And you had to allow for it to be birthed in that. You had to allow the virgin consciousness. You had to. And that was a tough journey. And she wasn't birthing a baby in no lavish hotel. Jesus was born in a manger, meaning in the animal world, in this physical world. That divine consciousness is born while you still living that life. You still living the life that you live. You still got a husband, you still got a wife, you still got children, you still got a job, you still got a circle of friends, it's born in this world, which makes the gifts that the wise men brought very important. What happens at a baby shower? Gifts that are given is there to support the baby. Baby beds, clothes, diapers, bottles, pacifiers. Oh, do mamas get gifts? I can't remember getting no gifts at my baby shower. I think it was all for the baby. The baby is showered. Jesus was showered with wisdom, very essential on the journey. The three wise men came following the star, which is the light, following the star to give the wisdom. That's what we need on our journey as it's born in this carnal world. Divine consciousness is born within you. And most of you all have already experienced that awakening. And it came after you were able to be in a virgin consciousness. When you broke away from something of, maybe it was you broke away a lot of your journey, you broke away from a religion, you broke away from the intellectual world, you broke away from circles you were in, you broke away. Most people, you're breaking away from something. That is that virgin consciousness coming into play. And out of that, the divine consciousness becomes birth. But there's something necessary, and that's the root of this message here. Jesus proclaimed in that temple that he was in his Father's house. I want you to hear that, because that'll preach right there, and I'm gonna resist going there. Jesus proclaimed, I'm in my Father's house, the temple. We've talked about the temple several times. What does that truly mean? Where's the temple? Everybody point to the temple. Yes, I'm seeing it in my peripheral. Yes. Point to the temple. Somebody on video. Show me where the temple is. Is it there? Is it there? Is it here? No, where is the temple? What does that imply? Where is the temple? He said, I'm in my Father's house. If this is the temple, where does the Father reside? Everybody keep pointing to the temple. Where does the Father reside? More than isn't, and it's not just this body. Inside. Greg Braden did a video on the heart. He said there are, I can't remember the number. It was like a tremendous amount of cells within the heart that has a mind of its own, is how he described it. Y'all remember we looked at that in one of the classes? The divine body course we did? He said when they did the research, the mind has a mind, it's doing its thing. These cells within the heart almost show like they have a mind of their own. It made it make sense to me when it says, when you pray, when you bow your head, you're bringing the sound frequency, the words, to the heart. Life force energy is in you. The Father resides there in the temple, in the heart, not the physical heart, but the physical manifestation of it becomes the heart, the body, you, the personality. You are the physical manifestation. Remember the mantra, God, the Father, Lord, however you want to say it, resides in me and is expressing itself through me as me. Okay? So now, Virgin Mary, virgin consciousness, birth divine consciousness. This is the divine consciousness where I'm not affected, influenced by error thoughts, carnal thoughts. What happened over here? What happened over there? Who thought this? Who thought that? I am guided by an inner guidance. It can be called intuition. It can be called inner guidance. Born in this manger, in this world. So now that put to rest that you have to, you have to be a monk to be enlightened. It's nothing against, if you're called to be that, great, but you don't have to be that. You don't have to, you could, in this world, born in the manger, of a virgin mother. Joseph is there to support. That's a whole nother story talking about the role of Joseph. It is a role, it's a significant role, but there's a major part of this story, and that's when the wise men show up. And I want to present to you or stir up some remembrance of what these wise men mean. What these wise men mean. Do anybody know what the wise men brought? Anybody remember what the wise men brought? And what else? We love it. Huh? Gold. Gold. Frankincense, myrrh, and gold. Frankincense, myrrh, and gold. I think we love all of them, don't we? Well, I do. Frankincense, myrrh, and gold. So let's go into these. So first of all, I want you to know the wise man represents wisdom. And we have talked about wisdom here. We talk about how in the regeneration or rejuvenation or the resurrection process, wisdom plays a major role in it. And we must have that ignited within us, that wisdom, but it comes It is gifted to you in your divine mindedness. First of all, I want you to realize that wisdom is gifted to you. You hear that? Note it. Wisdom, true wisdom, is gifted to you. Take note of that. Wisdom is gifted to the divine man, the spirit man. It is gifted to you. It comes as a gift to you. So it's not something, why do I say that? Because we think sometimes, maybe, we think that wisdom comes from what? What do a lot of people how do a lot of people maybe think that where? Huh? Age, what else? People try to become wise from what else? Study. And that was a big lesson in the word. Intellect. That's huge. Because we oftentimes will think that wisdom comes from reading a lot of books. How many of us are proud of our bookshelf? Oh, I have 556 books working on the 557th. And I got it custom built. I have all these books. I was one. I'm talking about me. That person who I'm talking about is me. Had custom bookshelves. And one of my teachers said, you need to stop. I'm putting you on a book fast. You can't read for a whole year. Huh? Wait a minute. Reading was my thing. Oh, referencing a book? Yes. Give me a quote. Quote, 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 quote. I tell you who said it. And then when I read a book, I'm going to look at the bibliography so I can read all of what they read. That was wisdom. Don't come from that. Wisdom is a gift to the spirit man. It is a gift. It comes to you when you are born in divine consciousness. So what does that tell you? That means you truly need to go within, because that divine consciousness comes within. What is wisdom metaphysically, so we can be clear? Wisdom is intuitive for my people who are in person. I'm reading from Truth Unity. It's shared on the screen. Wisdom is Truth Unity is for those who are new here online, Truth Unity is the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary is what we're referencing. So we're looking at metaphysics. Here's the benefit. Once you understand metaphysics, you can read spiritual texts and understand what they mean. Whether it's Bible, Quran, Hindu scripture, Buddhist scripture, as long as you know what the metaphysical meanings are. So this is not just in the Bible. Wisdom is intuitive knowing, spiritual intuition, the voice of this thing we call God within as the source of your understanding. That's what wisdom is. Wisdom is intuitive knowing, spiritual intuition, the voice of God within as the source of your understanding. So this wisdom includes, let me make sure I put that in there. Judgment, how you judge things, how you see things. Discriminate, again, back to that, how you judge, how you decide to treat things. Intuition, and all the departments of your mind, even how you remember things. When we say departments of the mind, we've done brain study, the middle of the head, all of these different glands that rule the memory, the perception, the intelligence, all of these different things. Well, that wisdom, once it is awakened, it's going to govern and influence all of those things. So yes, once that divine consciousness is awakened in you, then you will begin to see things differently than other people. You will begin to judge things differently. Things that make other people upset, it doesn't make you upset anymore. Things that made you sad before doesn't make you sad now. Those things change once that divine consciousness is awakened in you. And again, divine consciousness is that consciousness that comes from your understanding of life, your understanding of the reality of God, your understanding of how life works, your understanding, all of that is within that divine consciousness. And you begin to realize you are not under the rules, expectations, and standards of this world. You begin to realize that. And you begin to be able to see in nature how nothing is. Nature begins to be able to teach you. In my case, that's been my greatest teacher, nature. So even on here, when you look up wisdoms, for those who want to study this a little bit more, look up wisdom, and it's going to give you a whole slew of things to click on. Keep in mind, if it's blue, it has a metaphysical meaning. Wise men, the wise men of the East who came to visit the baby Jesus brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I just want you to look at some of the pieces of wisdom that comes in this divine consciousness. Let's look at gold first. Maybe gold now will mean a little bit different, something different to you. I know some spiritual, some people who go through spiritual awakening, they tend to gravitate towards gold, wear gold. A lot of spiritual teachers have gold in their mouth. People don't know it. They don't have gold fronts, but they'll have gold embedded in their mouth, just out of representation of wanting to really embody these spiritual gifts or this richness. Gold, the metaphysical meaning of gold. Gold represents spiritual gifts, the richness of spirit. So what comes in when you awaken in this divine consciousness? The voice of God, spirit. What comes, I'm saying what comes when you awaken, but I'm telling you, as a spiritual being, one of your gifts is the spirit. What happens when you awaken in this divine consciousness is you're able to hear the voice of God. I oftentimes hear people say, I wish I could hear. I want to be able to hear clearly. What's necessary is for you to awaken into the divine consciousness. The gold that comes, that is given to you from the East. East has a representation as well, and it's really from divine mindedness, from divine consciousness. It's this omniscience that we talk about, this one-mindedness that you hear the Hermetics talk about. When the Muslim and Muslims pray, they face the East. The East represents this one mind. The omniscience, when you hear the word omniscience, is highly related to this East. So this wisdom that comes from that is spirit. One, gold, spirit. The gold that the wise men brought to the Christ child was a consciousness of the omnipresent richness of substance. The consciousness of it. The consciousness of the omnipresent richness of substance. That's that omniscience, omnipotence. To follow Jesus in the demonstration of prosperity, we must charge our mind with the wise and rich ideas of omnipresence. Yes, that's gold. Frankincense. Frankincense, which is a fragrance, a gum, a resin. It represents in man the transmutation of the material consciousness into the spiritual. Now, we often talk about our alchemy. I have talked about many times transforming and transmuting energy. We talk about that often. This frankincense, which gives you a hint on why I often say, burn your frankincense resin. I like frankincense incense, but I really love for us to burn our resin. When you do the research on frankincense resin, it's going to tell you it is very good with neutralizing the mind, calming the mind. When 2020 hit, when I did our Black Education and Homeschool Conference, I emphasized to them, purchase your frankincense resin and burn it in your home while your children are there. Why am I saying that? Because that frankincense scientifically, it does something to the mind, which is why many use it during meditation and during spiritual times. But what is this metaphysical Bible dictionary showing us that frankincense represents in the scripture, at least in the Bible, in this scripture, this frankincense represent in man the transmutation of the material consciousness. into the spiritual. So what does that do in life? How does that look practically? You may ask. Well, what that look like is no matter what you're facing, you're able to still approach it from a spiritual mindset. That's so important. You're able to transmute whatever idea comes from what you're seeing, the denial letter, the struggle between you and your spouse, the struggle between you and your children, the finances, the this, the that, the things of this world, the sickness that shows up, the things of this world. This frankincense represent that transmutation that happens when you are awakened in divine consciousness, that it quiets those egos. Transmute. Because remember, energy doesn't stop, but it can be transmuted. It can be transformed. So we give thanks for what comes in this divine mindedness is this transmutation of that consciousness that is awakened in this material world or this world. Now, myrrh. Myrrh is also a gum or a resin. That comes from a tree, by the way. The metaphysical meaning of myrrh represents the eternity of spirit, an emblem of the resurrection, an anointment. I'm sorry, the word they're using is ointment of love. The metaphysical meaning of myrrh represents the eternity, everlasting, unlimited, ever expanding, omnipotent, omnipresent of spirit. An emblem of the resurrection, an ointment of love. Divine love. Let's keep that in mind. Let's not think of the affectionate love in this case. This is that love that has within it that grace and mercy that's spoken about, and everything else, the beneficence, all these different things is embedded within this love. It's like anxious about you. It's like this energy is anxious about you and exactly who you are. It has within it the grace and mercy that's specifically needed for you and your entire journey, the journey you have faced, the journey you will face, the journey you don't even know you're going to face. It has within it that love. That's what the myrrh represents. So this biblical baby shower that I'm mentioning, I'm saying, when you are born in, when you awaken within that which you have been embedded with, this divine consciousness, it comes with these gifts. It comes with these gifts. The gold that represents what? Remember, I want us to just keep in mind these things as we are continuing to walk in our divine consciousness, our divine mind. The goal, remember it as I am gifted with the voice of God with me, the richness of spirit with me. I am gifted with, just that is one of my gifts. I am gifted with this nature of this natural nature of transmutation of that material consciousness. It quiets the mind. We often call it the peace that surpasses understanding. And oftentimes when I'm hearing people talk about when they get a taste of this, they don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like I don't care. Some people describe it as, I don't really be caring no more like that. Alhamdulillah. Some people describe it like, I don't know, like I just feel grateful all the time. Give thanks. That's that frankincense. that's that fragrance that Muji call it the fragrance. It has a fragrance of peace. That's that frankincense. It gets transmuted. It's a gift that you have as a divine man. And that myrrh. And that is, I love how they say the words that they're choosing to use, the ointment of love. What is that love? That love has within it all that's needed. It has all of the names of God in it. The eternity of spirit, all the names that we call God, grace, mercy, Lily of the Valley, bright and morning star, El Shaddai, Yahweh. What else we could call it? All that Oshun. Okay, where you want me to go with it? Where you want me to go with it? It has it embedded. It is a gift that comes to the birthing of divine mind, with the birthing of divine mindedness. Yes. But where is that divine mindedness birthed from? Remember? Who birthed or what births this divine mindedness? Has to be that virgin consciousness. Don't be afraid of it. So for those of you who struggle oftentimes with confidence, that's one of the things that come up a lot in sessions. Confidence, you struggle with your faith, you struggle with even the egos, because maybe you've had a tough life, or you're experiencing tough things in your life. Those who are struggling with needing validation, you like to like reach outside of yourself, or you have a hard time even being with yourself. My prayers go out to you. And I want to give a word of encouragement that even in your awareness, that's a sign of your development. Just even being aware. And if you have the notion that you'd like to be more confident, you like to have deeper faith, you like to have a deeper relationship with spirit, you like to have, just because you even want it, that means it already is you. That's why you want it, because you're seeking you. You know that you are one that seeks spirit. You know that you are one that's confident within yourself, confident within the inner voice within you. And so, first of all, don't go hard on yourself. Secondly, activate your prayers. Seek it faithfully. Seek it, call on it. And I'm saying in this physical world, things like slow down on always sharing everything. Don't be so quick to dismiss the inspirations that come in your life just because you don't know how it's going to happen. These are practical things. Master your morning routine. Stop making the excuses on why you're not doing it. And okay, I won't be so harsh. Queen, is not excuses, it's real. Okay. Make some sacrifices. Be a little bit more disciplined with yourself. Get into studying for understanding, for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. The personal work, only you know it. You really know it. Listen to what your spirit is telling you you need to do to get closer to you. That's really what it is. It's not get closer to anything outside of you. I gotta get closer to God and this and that. No, get closer to you. Listen. Keep your dream journals, like I've been saying. Do your journaling in the morning. Listen to what keeps popping and ringing in your head. What is it that keeps ringing in your head? Pay attention to those little, as Florence Scovel would say, nudgings, or what she say, hunches. Follow the hunches. Pay attention to those. That is the divine consciousness. You walk in that by walking within you. It's really walking out you. But you got to seek within. So on this winter solstice, I say, if spirit has been leading you to do that social media fast, do it. If spirit has been leading you to not open your mouth until a certain time in the morning, listen. If spirit has been leading you to amplify your prayers, to be a little, to empower or ramp up your prayer life, do it, whatever that looks like. If spirit has been saying, shut it down by a certain time at night and add in the nighttime meditation, do it. Okay, I'm just naming things that I've experienced when spirit have pulled my coattail, have been like, okay, hold on, sis, you doing too much outside. Come on in, come on inside. Because if you don't listen to it, as I have said to many people before, and I continue to say, you're going to be forced to. You're going to be forced to. And that's good too. But sometimes that journey is hard. It gets tough. And I'm not saying run away from struggle, but I'm definitely telling you don't run to it. Don't run to it. Yeah? Okay. Well, that's the word. I think, look, I didn't even really look at my notes. I think I got through everything. I covered everything that I wrote down that I figured I wanted to talk about. But we give thanks for the message to us today that we are born as spiritual beings. We are born of divine consciousness. And we are born as spiritual beings. Know that as a spirit being, you come with gifts. That's what these wise men from the East represented, that showered this Jesus figure that represents divine consciousness. Divine consciousness is showered with this spirit, showered with this transmutation of egos, showered with that. Know that you have it. We're in an era where we can become attracted to a lot of things. Oh, the release circle, and we're going to do this, and all of these things outside of us are happening. And I'm not against any of them. I'm just saying that you come with that wisdom, that spirit, that love. You come with it. And yes, a lot of those things can help you to tap into it or be awakened in them, but you don't have to have those things. And as a matter of fact, when you begin to seek those things within, is really when that relationship is going to build. So if those things are not pointing you within yourself, then I'm encouraging you to move away from those things and gravitate to those things that are pointing you within yourself. All right. Okay. Give thanks. We're going to close out in a word of prayer. We give thanks for the word this morning, the reminder that we are spiritual beings in this human experience. We give thanks for this human experience. May we continue to walk in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of our gifts that come with us naturally. May we remember it. May we remember the reality of our true divine nature as we continue to walk on this journey. I'm setting the intention for this brief meditation to be a meditation, a moment of peace, a moment of surrender to this truth. May we surrender to this truth that we are endowed with gifts. All right, we're going to move into a moment of meditation. So find yourself in a comfortable position. We give thanks for the word. Let's settle the mind. Let's settle the spirit. And I'm setting the intention for this moment to be a moment of, as I said, surrender. Surrendering to this gold, frankincense, and myrrh, to these gifts. Not having to do anything. Keeping in mind that Jesus didn't have to be grown, didn't have to know, didn't have to do anything in order to be endowed with these gifts. This is the same for us. So let's start by just engaging the breath, taking deep breaths in through the nose, bringing it down to the bottom of the belly. Let's just start there. Slowing the heart rate down, slowing the breath down. Let's take a few deep cleansing breaths. Slowly inhaling deeply down to the bottom of the belly. Full breath in. And slowly exhaling through the nose or mouth. And as you exhale, relax. Continue to take those deep breaths in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth or nose, whichever one is comfortable, until you feel totally relaxed. Dropping the shoulders, relaxing the arms. Focus on the breath until the mind is empty. And just focusing in on breathing deeply. And relaxing. allowing yourself to sink into whatever surface you're on. Just sink into that surface. Relax. Relaxing, releasing the tension in the shoulders, the hips, and the legs. Relax. Release the tension in the wrists, the hands. Relax. We oftentimes take a posture in this life of holding on, figuring out, finding, fixing. In this moment, I'm asking you to surrender, let go. Relax, just for the moment. Giving thanks for the beautiful reminder today that we are a spiritual being and we come with the gifts of light, of an inner voice of God. We come with it. We come with the power of alchemy, the ability to transmute. We come with the capacity of infinite peace that surpasses all understanding. And our life comes with this grace and mercy that we hear about. It comes with it. It's unmerited favor, favor that you don't have to work for. It comes as you begin to relax, returning back to your regular breath. Continue to just relax and receive. Let us always remember that we come into this physical experience as spiritual beings. That is not something you must find or acquire. You are that. Spiritual beings mean that you are endowed with spirit, that gold that one of the wise men brought. As a spiritual being, you are endowed with the power of alchemy. You are an alchemist, naturally. And your inner guidance guides you to transmute and transform energy. That guidance show up in awareness, in willingness, in resilience, and also in inspiration. And we're constantly transforming and transmuting and transferring energy. So giving thanks for the gold and the frankincense. And we come into this physical experience as spiritual beings, also endowed with the gift of the resurrection of God within us. The reality that the Almighty lives and moves and have its being through us, as us. So in this moment, as you continue to breathe, release the judgments of yourself. Release the thought that you may have been wrong or went the wrong way or going too slow or running out of time or need to get this or need to get that. Just release it in this moment. And have a realization in this moment that all is well, always. And is always working in the direction of your goodness, your expansion. Be encouraged in this moment that all that you feel you need or will ever need is already yours. Rest in that knowing. Relax in it so that you can receive. As we get ready to close, take one more deep breath in through the nose, deep as you can go. Hold that breath as long as you can. And when you're ready, exhale and relax in your gifts. Give thanks for the reawakenings. Give thanks for the reminders. Be empowered in God. Be empowered in your beingness. No need for empowerment from outside of you. Reach within. All right, I invite you to come back to this present moment, baby, by wiggling your fingers and toes. Giving yourself a little stretch. And just being in a moment of gratitude as we close our session today. Just giving thanks for your breath, giving thanks for this moment, giving thanks for this day. We've made it here to the December of 2024. Whoa. We're about to be in January of 2025. We've made it to this winter solstice. We give thanks. We give thanks. I thank you for joining me for this session this AM and all of the reminders that we have gotten as this special Christmas message has gone forward today. I pray that this has been an inspiration for you to have maybe something renewed to celebrate. Maybe you'll think about the gifts on the tree a little bit differently. Maybe you'll think about that star that we put at the top of the tree, which represents the tree of life, by the way. Maybe you'll think about it a little differently. Maybe it can bring you out of resistance of the holiday if that's where your place is. Rewriting the stories, retelling it within yourself. We have the power to do that always. So we thank you. I thank you for joining me today. If all hearts and minds are clear, we're going to go ahead and close. Thank you to those who joined me in person. We give thanks. Give thanks for those who joined online. As I always say, if you found this message to be empowering, once it has been posted as a replay, share it, but also let people know they can tune in live here every Sunday, 11 a.m. online, or if they're in Atlanta, you can come in person and hang out here at the Garden. Also, if you feel compelled, if this message, pardon me, has moved you today, you feel compelled to show some love, you may do so at that same link that you went to this morning to tune in. You may do so there. If you'd like to support the ministry, we give thanks for all the support of the ministry. Thank you so much for those who have supported the ministry all this year. Thank you for those who have supported the event we're having tonight. I want everybody to know that there has been many members who have supported the event that's going on tonight. Some have given gifts in support of our closing event for this evening, for this year. So give thanks for that. Thank you to those who have tuned in and supported during the journey of us acquiring our headquarters for this year. I'm saying all these things because I know this might be the last time I'm in front of y'all before this new year. So I want to say that I write this year down as a groundbreaking year for OU Ministries. And this year in May, we were able to close on our headquarters here. And many of you gave, many of you supported, many of you prayed, many of you encouraged me. And I just want to give thanks for that. And you constantly do it. So I want to give thanks for that. For those who given financially, who keep the ministry in your prayers, who come out and volunteer. It's so many of you who have supported those who you constantly purchase your personal products from the store, you buy the produce. Many of you all faithfully do it, and I thank you for it. And for those who I know you keep me in your powerful prayers, I know it to be true. Thank you for those. Keep them going. I appreciate it. And I don't say I need your prayers for the sake of some level of fear or something like that. I say it because when we're tapped in our prayers, we're tapped in the frequency of God. And as you amplify in that, it amplifies it for the whole. So stay tuned into that. Keep us amplified, keep us lifted. There are people who have gone through transitions this year. So I want to show my love to you all. I know some of you all have had parents to transition. We have a few people who have had children transition. I just want to show my love to you. Know that you are constantly in my prayers. I'm always shooting out my distant Reiki energy towards you and your heart, your family, your love. Love for them. May you all continue to grieve in a way that is in alignment with love and peace. And may you be able to experience memories of joy when you remember your your family members in those ways. And those who are stuck in some levels of sadness and grief from those loss, I pray that you can come into a space of peace swiftly on your journey. I'm praying that that can be swift on your journey. Know that I take note and you're in my prayers. For those who have had material losses this year, whether it's been jobs or materials, may you walk in peace and know that anything that is yours is still yours. And that may you be able to go through these tough periods that you may be facing. May you stay encouraged. And we give thanks. We give thanks in advance for the victories that all of you all have right now that's being awakened in your life. Keep in mind, if you're not on a group me chat, that's how I'm learning about. I can keep up with all of you all. If you go to the group me chat room and you tune into that, you able to share. Thank you so much for the love you've shown in the group chat. Those who show love to some who've had some transitions just recently. Thank you for showing love and prayers for those members. Thank you for those who tuned into the chakra class. That class was dynamic. I do have a beautiful class I'm putting together right now. I'll announce soon. Is that all the housekeeping? I got a list in my head that I'm trying to follow. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all those good things, wonderful things. If I don't see you tonight, a lot of you all will be here tonight, but if I don't see you tonight, I'm gonna see y'all on the flip side of this Gregorian calendar. I'm gonna see y'all in January. Okay, we're gonna go the first Sunday. I don't know. This 2025 may call for us to do communion. I don't know how that's gonna be, but we'll see. I don't know. Let me not make no plans. I'm gonna flow in spirit. But thank you all for tuning in. I'm gonna go ahead and go. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you all next time I see you all. In the meantime, in between time, remember your gifts and walk like you are one that is gifted. Okay, because you are. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. You are gifted with it. Know it and walk like it. Know it and walk like it. All right, y'all. Peace and love.